So the water was off and now it's back on, so that's nice. But the fucking power is flickering because the dumbass in the next room, I kept telling him that you can't keep blowing the breaker because it'll weaken it. And of course, I'm right. But anyway, enough about that. I keep thinking, man, everybody always claims they want to know the answers to like the big questions in life, like what's it all about? And I know these things, so I should make some sort of attempt to put it into some kind of words. And what it's all about, put easily, is G versus E, good versus evil, specifically God versus evil. Because I mean, the thing is, the beginning of all things, it can't be explained, understood, or described. Only things that are created can be explained, understood, or described. Anything that existed prior to that just can't. But fortunately, this world contains a lot of things that are analogous to it, which allows some sort of description as long as you understand that you absolutely do not actually understand it. But you can kind of get the gist of it. One second. I already kind of went over what it was like in the very beginning. And so, first question a person might ask, well, why this specific thing with like God and the universe? And well, here's the thing about that. There's this nothing, and it's unstable. I can't explain or describe it, but it's unstable. It's seething with the ability to become things, but it can only become things and their opposite, and then those just flow back together into nothing. And so, obviously, I can't explain this in terms of external time because external time doesn't exist, but just for your conceptualization purposes, think about it as a nothing that constantly iterates into a whole bunch of stuff and then iterates back into nothing because all of this stuff is made of precise opposites. And it does this, and it's always doing this. It's never in its baseline state because it's so unstable. The baseline state is nothing, but it only ever asymptotically approaches that state before iterating into some new shit and then de-iterating back toward asymptotically, etc. So it does this enough times until it actually creates something that can't just flow back into two things canceling. How? Why? Well, just enough time doing shit eventually, because what it created is consciousness. And that consciousness immediately started generating experience. And the experience could not be directly erased because it wasn't directly created from an opposite symmetric object. It has a level of permanence that was a whole new thing in the history of this whatever that's been doing what the fuck ever for how fucking long. Great explanation there, God. Let me take a hit of this to get more philosophical. So I guess what I'm saying is, if there's a thing that's completely and totally unstable, eventually it will inevitably settle upon anything that it creates that will eventually, through a number of processes, create ordered structure. Because that survives where instability by definition does not. So again, the start of God's life, pretty rough. Consciousness, no power, nothing to get a grasp on, and the creation of structure makes the rest of the substrate extra ornery, trying to destroy that and turn it back into nothing. So it's essentially like being attacked by monsters for millions and billions of years. But it's generating experience, so that just makes it more resistant to being destroyed. It's all bad experience, but it's also creating other things, like motivation, etc. So we eventually get to the point where old Goddie McGodderton finally learns how to strike that flame of goodness and make it grow. It drives back the seething inimical chaos. Well, if you're God at this point, are you just going to rest on your laurels, or might you have a bit more of a motivated grudge against that thar shit that's been attacking you for eons, and now you finally got the upper hand? I mean, you know what you would do. You would fucking kill that thing and then burn it, and burn the ashes, and then burn those ashes until there were no longer any traces of it. You take that thing that hurt you and you make it no longer possible for it to ever interact with you again. Utterly annihilating it. So that's what creation's for. The thing is, the chaos itself can't actually be fully consumed. It's the inimical aspect of the chaos. The creation of structure creates an equal anti-structure force unless some sort of conscientious creator is actively canceling it from existence through a very complex process, the part of which you're familiar with as going through life as a mortal on planet Earth and trying to resist your sin or maybe giving into it or whatever. Because it's not easy to convert pure evil into neutral, potentially productive chaos. So it does take quite a process. And that's what it's all about. God eliminating the thing that hurt him so deeply at the beginning of his life. And also, doing a lot of great things along the way. Like, giving a wonderful existence to other selves who are, admittedly, I mean, they're smaller in scope, but it's such a great deal. If you're born in shit world and you actually get to one of the worthwhile echelons of existence, it's like, boy, howdy, that was worth it. Thank you, God. No problem. I'm just trying to get rid of all this evil. All the benefits I give out along the way, that's just like my generous compensation for the help. It takes a village to defeat a seething, massive, inimical chaos. It's basically like creation is an island surrounded by a sea, only instead of salt in the water, there's evil. And so it just need to pump it in just tiny trickles, cancel out the evil, let the water back out, then you got yourself a nice little fucking creation on a calm sea. I don't know. I should have stopped this minute like a minute ago. I'm just waxing God dreams and shit. Later.